Hey everyone, this is Dora from flippinghousesandpancakes.com, and I thought today I'd talk with you a little bit about a way a super busy mom who works and homeschools, or even if you don't work or don't homeschool, a really great way to get yourself organized and ready for Passover or Pesach, because it is coming and it's coming fast. Now, right now, as I'm filming this video, there's actually 2 months left to Pesach, and you're probably wondering, why are you talking about Pesach if there's still 2 months to go? Most people don't start dealing with Pesach or Passover preparations and cleaning until after the holiday of Purim, which is a month before Pesach. And I have several reasons why I start earlier. And actually, I started about a month ago, just after Hanukkah. And the reason is this. First of all, Pesach preparation's a huge task. Any food that we don't eat on Pesach, like bread, cookies, pretzels, not only do we not eat them and not cook them on Pesach, but we're going to try and clear the entire house of them, including crumbs. So I'm going to do essentially a full house, intense spring cleaning every year to get my house ready for Pesach. And while you don't necessarily have to do everything that I do, a lot of people will just do like a more minimal version where they're going to sweep and mop and vacuum. I go through every single shelf of my house. I take the opportunity to get rid of anything that we're not using anymore. And I really do a spring cleaning plus Pesach cleaning. So that's a lot of work. I know myself, I don't have the energy to do that all in the last 4 weeks leading up to Pesach and still have energy to make it through Pesach. I don't want to be exhausted going into that. And also I'm super busy. I have 5 kids. 4 of them are still being homeschooled. We have multiple businesses, and I do design work. My parents are in town. My husband's parents are in town. Life can get very complicated sometimes, and usually that happens that last little bit right before Pesach. If you know me, you'll know there's always some sort of chaos happening. And so if I'm ready ahead of time, then I don't have to worry so much. Not only that, but 2 of my kids were also, one was born on Pesach, one was born right after Pesach. So those years I was always like, I had to be even more prepared, more ready in advance, because I knew that at the end I wouldn't be able to be doing all of the cleaning, all of the cooking and everything. I needed to be ready in case. So I like to prepare well ahead. And also I have a pretty decent sized house. I'm very fortunate. Don't have only a few rooms. So the more rooms you have, the more time it takes for you to clean them. So I do have to do a lot of rooms. And so this is how I get myself ready for Pesach without going totally insane. 3 months until Pesach, after Hanukkah. We get through Hanukkah and my kids know, we're going to get ready for Pesach. And this is what we do. I write up a big list of every single room in my house. So I will write this kid's bedroom, that kid's bedroom, the laundry room, the office. I'll write down the cars in there. I'll write down the hallways, the bedrooms, every bedroom, kitchen, living room, dining room, the whole thing on a big list. And then I'm going to figure out some things I can do at the same time. So like our living room and dining room are connected, and therefore I will clean them at the same time. So those are going to be 1 week. And I will go through and figure out how many weeks of cleaning I have to do. So my big room downstairs, I have this very large playroom, social room, whatever you want to call it, storage. It's not really a storage room. I mean, we store a lot of things in there, but we have a big kind of hangout space downstairs. That room takes me 2 weeks because it's got tons of toys and books and everything in it. And it's really large. So I'll sit there and I'll figure out, okay, I need 10 weeks to get my entire house cleaned, because I'm going to only do 1 room per week. No matter what, If it takes me only an hour to get the room done, we have an office and it's very minimal amount of things in there. It doesn't take me long to clean it at all, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours. I will not move on to the next room. That's it. That's all I have to do that whole week. But I have the whole week to get it done. So as long as sometime between Sunday and Motzei Shabbos, Saturday night, I get that room done, I'm done. I don't have to worry about the other rooms. Part of I think the challenge of Pesach cleaning, because it's such a big job, is that it feels like such a big job. It feels really stressful. It feels overwhelming. So in order to be less overwhelmed and to not be stressed out about it as much, I break it down into weeks. Like, that's it. I only have to do this one room this week. So this week I had to do my daughter's bedroom. She's younger, so she doesn't do it herself. She did do some of it herself, and then I helped her with the rest of it. That's all I had to get done this week. And I know I don't have to worry about the other rooms because I am cleaning this one room. Once it's done, I move on to the next room on my list. And I think that takes a lot of that stress away. So I never have to worry about but I still have so much to do. No, I only have to do that room. And when it's done, I did my work for Pesach that week. Because if you only have a little bit of time or a little bit of stress level available, limiting yourself to one task. I'm just doing this one room. If it's done, I'm done. That really helps me a lot. But anyhow, so what I do is I have this list of rooms and I figure out how many weeks it's going to take me to clean them. Then I go into my calendar and I find where it says Pesach. So I jump all the way over to the start of Pesach and I give myself several days to cook the food for Pesach, because usually we have guests and it's a lot of food prep. So I like to have several days worth of cooking available. Once I've kind of scheduled that, then the week before that, I mark that I'm going to clean my kitchen for Pesach. Now that's a full week. That is an intense cleaning, scrubbing, everything. That's going to take me a week, and I mark that on my planner the week before I'm cooking. And then I'm going to go from there and I'm going to work my way backwards. The rooms that are the hardest to keep clean. So after the kitchen, the week before the kitchen, I'll do the living room and dining room. And the week before that, I will put my mudroom / laundry room, because my kids take food in and out. Like, we bring groceries in through there. So I work backwards in time, starting at the food preparation point, and I mark my kitchen is going to be cleaned the week before. And the week before that, I'm going to do my living room and dining room. And the week before that, I'm going to clean my mudroom / laundry room. And the week before that, I might clean the office. And I'm going to work my way backward until I get to my last room. So once all the rooms are written down in my planner, I'm going to, and you can do it on your phone calendar. I do it actually both in my planner and in my phone calendar. I work my way backwards, and then I know when my starting point is. It's usually about 10 weeks before, 10 to 12 weeks it takes me to get my whole house clean. Now, I know that sounds terrifying. And the reason it sounds terrifying is because you go, but what do you do with your kids? Now, my kids are bigger and they have learned already, if this room is clean for Pesach, don't take anything in, no food, no drink, no anything. When my kids were smaller, they would run around, right? I would start with all the rooms that I could close off. If I could close a door and they couldn't get through the door, it was off limits, or if I could catch them before they would do that, I would close the door and I would tell them from the time they were super little, that room is clean for Pesach. We can't take any food. We can't take any crumbs. And we would make a big deal about cleaning our clothes off before we walked into it, so that they learned that's clean for Pesach. You can't take stuff in there. And of course, there have definitely been times when they ran into a room and they had crumbs all over themselves and I had to re-vacuum. And I would tell them, now mommy has to do more work because you didn't listen. You have to teach them in a nice way. But no, Pesach is coming. This room can't have crumbs. You have to eat your Cheerios in the kitchen. And we would just, as they grew up, obviously it got easier. But I definitely had those days where I had to re-clean something. But for the most part, it would be mostly clean. And I always tried to re-vacuum everything at the end anyhow, just to be on the safe side. But so that's how I would keep my kids, my little kids, like I would just strip them down after dinner when they had all the spaghetti all over themselves, take their clothes off, change, like into the tub. Let's go. Like, we're not taking any of this stuff out of this room. And my kids grew up learning that when mommy's cleaning for Pesach, you have to be extra careful not to take the food in. So that was something that they learned as they grew up. And it's definitely helped, and now they're bigger, and I don't have to worry about it really anymore. I just remind them, that room's clean for Pesach, and now they don't want to have to help me clean it again. So they don't take anything out into any rooms that are already clean for Pesach. So that's how I took care of but it takes so long. Like, what do you do with 2 months where you can't take food in and you're monitoring your kids? That's what I do. I train them. It's clean for Pesach. Don't take it in there. And they learn, okay, no, you want water? You can take water. Like, we have very specific rules. So they learned that from that process. So the cleaning is, I think, one of the biggest preparation one of the biggest issues in terms of preparing for Pesach. That's the scariest part. That's the part where it's like, we hit Pesach and I'm like, whew, I don't have to do that again for 9 months. I don't have to think about it till after Hanukkah next year. Yay! Which is always great. But there's other parts to preparing for Pesach. If you're preparing to be cooking food in your own kitchen and hosting people, so here comes a whole nother set of complications. In addition to needing to have all the utensils and the pots and pans and all those things, you also have to start preparing food. And one of the reasons I don't actually cook until a few days before Pesach. Just to clarify, I'm not talking about cooking a month in advance for Pesach in a separate kitchen. I don't have a separate kitchen. Everything is done in my one kitchen a few days before Pesach, and then, throughout Pesach itself. But the shopping is one of the most expensive things you can do in a year. I feel like it's just so expensive. Buying all the groceries, especially if you have guests or like to host for meals, it's very expensive, especially Pesach time. You have to buy everything over. You don't just have a ketchup sitting in your fridge. You have to buy a new one. Like, you have to buy everything. And so it gets very expensive. And one of the issues that I've found over the years is I would buy a lot of stuff and then I would still have so much of it left after Pesach. And it was like, I didn't need to buy that. I just wasted a bunch of money because I have it sitting there. So what I like to do is, I started doing this years ago. I used to just write my menus down in a notebook. And then what I started to do several years ago is that I would go through my old menus. I would sit there, I would write a new menu. It's going to be approximate. Things are going to change. You're going to add a salad. You're going to take away something. You're going to have more guests and need to add more chicken, whatever it is. A general idea of a menu. And from there, I would sit down and I wrote a master grocery list. Master grocery list. Mine is 2 pages long. 2 pages, multiple columns, I think 3 columns maybe. Master grocery list. And I save that in my computer. And I use that to do my shopping. So at least I have a general idea of most of the ingredients that I need. And of course, sometimes I have to add something. Sometimes I have to take away something because I change my menu a little bit. But for the most part, I knew what I needed. I need this many of that. I need that many of this, right? I've got my tomato sauce. I've got my chicken. I've got my matzah meal. I've got whatever it is I need on this big master list. And so the next year, I print it off. I save it on my computer, and every year I print it out. And every year it gets modified a little bit, but every year I print it out, even before I've made my menu. Because like now, 2 months before Pesach, I still have a master grocery list in my computer. I can print it out and then go through the things that I know for sure, no matter what, I'm going to need. So like, no matter what, I'm going to need matzah meal. No matter what, I'm going to need sugar. I'm going to need probably a jelly. I'm going to need specific ingredients that no matter what I'm cooking or how many people I'm cooking for, I'm going to need that ingredient. And I start to, as I see them in the grocery store, for example, there was a sale the other day at one of our local kosher grocery stores, and they had jelly on sale, and the jelly said kosher for Pesach. So I bought extra jelly and I put it in my cabinet, put it away. It's just in my cabinet. Like, you can wrap it up in a bag, put it in your cabinet or in a closet. It's not going to go bad. It's perfect for Pesach. And I can print out my list. I can check off jelly because now I have my jelly. And as I see things on sale, I'm going to start buying them. It also means I don't have to do the giant grocery trip where I have 3 million things in my shopping cart or 3 shopping carts and I'm trying to push it through the store. I don't want to do that. I want to be as prepared as possible. I want to be able to get things where they're cheaper. So the next time I walk into Giant or Safeway, if they have something that's on sale at a good price and I can keep it and use it for Pesach and it's non-perishable, I will buy it and check it off of my list. Or as I go through Costco and BJ's and places like that, Sam's Club, I can check certain things off my list because I already have my basic list. So that's how I do my grocery list. And then there's certain things that I can't do until the very, very end, until we're very close to Pesach, and I have those on the list as well. So that's fine because I'll have done most of my shopping before everybody else is even starting. Obviously, the perishables I have to buy at the end. I have to buy much closer to Pesach, but that is how I do my food preparation, my grocery preparations for Pesach. So those are the 2 biggest preparations that I have to do for Pesach that I can start well in advance. The cleaning and the food purchasing, the grocery shopping. And that's how I do them in a more organized fashion so that I am ready without going nuts. And I also save money by doing it, especially with the groceries, by doing it that way. And I hope you enjoyed that video, learning how I managed to get all that stuff done while still doing the homeschooling, still doing the business, all of those things, still dealing with life. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please please subscribe to my channel, hit the bell for notifications so you find out whenever I post a new video. If you have any other topics you would like me to talk about when it comes to holiday prep, homeschooling, cooking, kitchen design, any of those things, go ahead and let me know down in the comments below, and check out my website, flippinghouseandpancakes.com.